Hi everyone. I'm going to do I guess, a follow up to a follow up because I've received a number of questions and requests and comments that how do we do our thing. So here's kind of what I plan to cover in this video. I want to talk about the truck and some upgrades we've done to the truck, likes and dislikes about our tow vehicle and why we chose it. Mail. How do we do mail as a full timer? How do we do vehicle registrations and things like that without a brick and mortar house and residency and things like that? Banking, I want to hit on something kind of can be kind of scary for those folks who own an LLC and are purchasing an Airstream under the LLC and anything else that comes to mind. So here we go.
Good morning, sun's rising. Don't let the light in.
And I want to put an asterisk on this whole conversation here. As a service member for 25 years active duty, and Blair as spending a lot of that time with me, moving from duty station to duty station, picking up things and moving to a new place is not new to us. We haven't spent 40 years in a house and now we're suddenly going to be packing up and leaving and moving into our RV and going to do things. So we have lived somewhat of an expeditionary life since we've known each other, and I've lived it for a long time. So some of the things people worry about packing up a house and selling a house and moving into a small space and just traveling somewhere new all the time is not that foreign to us. So that is a big asterisk to this conversation. And I know some of you out there, your kids are out of the house and you're empty nesters now, and you want to move full time and go on the road full time, and which is awesome, and I highly recommend it because it's a beautiful country and you should go see it all. But I know some of your fears. I don't share them because I've lived a nomad life for so long, and it's hard for me to understand and remember what it was like to have roots somewhere for a very long time. So that's that's a caveat to this conversation in many ways. Mail. Blair and I have domiciled in the state of Texas. So we use Escapees RV Club, and it's one you can domicile with them through one of three states: Florida, Texas, or South Dakota. There's another company called America's Mailbox that has a similar setup where you can drive to South Dakota, spend the night, go get your driver's license the next day, register all your vehicles and things like that, and you're now a resident of the state of South Dakota. I don't know how Florida works because I've not done that before. So, but right now we are domiciled in the state of Texas. So our driver's license are there, our vehicles are registered there, our concealed carry permits, whatever, voter registration, everything is in domiciled in Texas. And Escapees RV Club, they do mail, they have community events, they have discounts to certain things. It's a really wonderful Escapees. It's a really wonderful resource for RVers in general, particularly those of you who are full timers. If you're on YouTube right now, there's a link down below. You have to scroll down a bit to get to it, but there's a link to join Escapees RV Club, and it's one of our links. It is affiliate link, so if you do join, we do get some commission and full transparency. But we've been a member of them for, I don't know, since 2014 or 2015. It's been a long time, so I've had the service for a long time. So you can be just a member of Escapees RV Club and do the community events and get discounts at certain RV parks and things like that, or you can add on to that, being a member of that, to have them handle your mail. So every form we fill out, everything we do, all of our mail goes to an address in Texas via the Escapees RV Club. And there's multiple tiers where you can have them just send you everything you get, or you can have them sort the mail, class A, class B, whatever the classes of mail are, class 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure what the classes are, but you can have them sort your mail and send you not junk mail. You can have them hold your mail while you're traveling. So basically, the way we do it is I have it set up. So we're here in South Carolina right now. We're here for an extended months. So we have an address at the RV park here. So I check with the RV park and I said, hey, can I have mail sent here? Absolutely. So I went on the Escapees website, my app, and I said, hey, I checked the box. Please forward my mail to me at this address every 2 weeks. And they just pack it up and ship it out to me. And every time a new piece of mail comes in, I get a scanned copy of the envelope that it came in, and I could say, destroy the envelope. I could say, scan the contents of the envelope and email it to me, or I could say, just send with the next mailing package, and that's kind of my option. So it's a really wonderful service for mail. and finding domicile, because we don't have a brick and mortar home. So our home is kind of ubiquitous and on the road, but so it's considered our domicile is in the state of Texas. How do we do banking? We are with the same bank we've been with for a long, long, long time, and everything today, thankfully, is mobile banking options. So we do all of our banking online. Rarely do we ever need to go into a brick and mortar structure for any reason. So we can handle everything online, depositing checks or withdrawing money and whatever things are. So there's multiple options for that. Something I've heard of people doing, and I just want to caution everyone about this. So if you're not aware, some states don't have sales tax. So if you purchase a vehicle and you register it in a specific state, they don't have a sales tax. One of those states is Montana. And when we lived in Utah, I knew a number of people who did this, but they would establish an LLC in the state of Montana to avoid paying sales tax on a vehicle, and they would register the vehicle via the LLC and multiple other things with the LLC, so they would avoid paying sales tax. But if you are an Airstream owner and you go back and look in the literature of your manual, so the day you picked up your rig, someone should have gone over with you the warranty card. Here's what's covered. Here's what's not covered. On the back side of that, paragraph number 8, or at least it was paragraph 8, number 8 when I bought it. It says specifically if the vehicle is registered under an LLC, it is assumed that this is a business and your warranty things will not be covered. So if that's the case for you, if that's something you were thinking about, then it may be something you want to consider. So I don't know of anyone. I've never heard of anyone who had it registered as an LLC who's been turned away for service, but just know that that is specifically in there that it says if you register it as an LLC, it's assumed it's a business and it will void warranty. So go back and read your warranty card if you didn't read the fine print. And if you happen to be in a state who doesn't charge sales tax and you can register it in that state, great. That's pretty cool. There's not many states out there who don't charge it, so good on you if you have that set up. Finances, like what does it cost for us to live a month on the road and kind of a month stationary? I'm going to have Blair kind of cover those things. She's more in tune with our finances than I am. So here's our video talking about finances. What I want to cover is what a month on the road roughly cost us and what a month not on the road roughly cost us outside of normal thing. Everybody has their own truck and car payments if they have them. Everybody has their own healthcare insurance and car insurance and life insurance and medical care and that kind of stuff. Everybody has their own groceries based on their family needs, but just kind of general cost of fuel and rent and fees and maintenance stuff, whatever you have for that. So we do the month on the road first. And for all of you out there in internet land, the month on the road that we had wasn't quite a month.
Yeah.
It was about 3 weeks roughly. We left Utah. We drove south through Texas to Louisiana, Florida, Alabama, South Carolina. So roughly we had 3 weeks on the road. How much did we spend in fuel?
Fuel. How many miles did we drive?
2,500. Right. It was like 20. If I did them outside of side trips, like just straight line driving, it would have been 20, 25, 50, I think it was.
Okay. So I don't recall what gas prices were at the time, but it was February into March of 2023.
Yep.
And we spent right under $1,000 for gas.
Jeez.
$980. Yeah. So it was quite a lot of driving for a single road trip. So essentially cross country.
And our truck, when pulling the rig on flat land, gets about 12 to 14 miles per gallon. Because it's a 6-speed.
I was going to say 11.
That's on a good day. I said flat ground. Flat ground with a tailwind, 12 to 14.
8 to 11. I mean, mountains are.
Yeah. Okay, so that's fuel. Now, how much did it cost us for the stay at all the places we stayed?
So we stayed more at RV parks than we typically would have. Like typically we would do an RV park for a couple days and then we'd do a harvest host for a day or two and then same. But we primarily stayed in RV parks. So this is more than what we would typically spend, which is $560.
How many stays that was?
We stayed at a KOA in Denver. We stayed at Cadillac Ranch RV Park, stayed at a state park, and then we stayed in Baton Rouge at an RV park, and then Pensacola, Florida at a campground, and then another one-night stay at an Air Force base. Got a helper. So we stayed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 14 nights, and it was $56 or $560. And typically, over the course of a 14-night period, we would probably only do half of that. We would typically harvest host.
Yeah, we were caravanning with Ruth and Tab, quite a bit of that. So we were trying to park next to them.
Yep.
And they have the classic. I did a tour of the rig from the campground there. But it was a fun caravan and fun hanging out with them. But just when we do that kind of traveling, we typically stay in a park so we can all plug in together and be kind of the same. But if it's just Blair and I and Piper and Scout, then we are just boondocking. Okay, so $560.
So I didn't include any dinners or nights out or anything like that. But like state park fees if we went hiking, or we also went to a comedy show. I didn't include that. So like state park fees, museum fees was $95. And then we also had to pay a couple tolls, so that was a total of $20. Which isn't too terrible for 2,500 miles. Hey, Stretchy. What do you see? You hear the birds? I hear them. They're crows, aren't they? You're so cute. I love you. Can you tell that I wasn't home much today? Hi. So our grand total in expenses, which was quite a good bit for us typically, for 3 weeks on the road was $2,100, $2,155.
Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty expensive month. When we are living in a park and not really traveling, we're both just doing our normal daily things. What are our expenses?
So gas is going to be a lot less. Even though we take like 3-day trips. You have a monthly fee at an RV park, which is typically anywhere from like $650 to $800 per month.
We have found that many parks, it's kind of a toss-up, half and half. Some charge you for power, or some charge you for not power. It's included in the cost, up to a certain amount of power pulled. Any park that, like for example, the KOA in Salt Lake we stayed in, I think it was $725 a month, something like that. But power was included up to a certain amount. But at the hottest part of the summertime, with both air conditioners running, I don't think we ever went over the power. Yeah, so it was never extra. The park we're in right now here, power's not included, so we have to pay extra for power. But it's been like $30 a month or $20-something a month, even in the hottest month. So these rigs are pretty efficient.
Yeah.
Groceries are groceries, depending on you and your family and what you eat. Blair and I try to cook most of our meals here, so we don't really eat out and have the expenditures of eating out. So we go to Costco quite a bit, and Sam's Club quite a bit, and Walmart quite a bit, and whatever grocery stores quite a bit. But we buy our food and cook it so that we don't have to pay the exorbitant fees for eating out. And take our lunch to work.
Yes.
Which is weird. Nobody else takes their lunch to work.
Yeah, I was the only one today that brought my lunch.
I don't know. That's been our kind of standard operating procedure for ever. Like we just take our own. Yeah.
So
I've been the same way.
Yep.
Same with coffee. Like, don't buy coffee out. Make coffee at home. It's so much cheaper.
Yep. We use Gas Buddy. It's a free app, and you select your kind of gas that you want and a radius around you, and it gives you all the gas prices, and you can sort by price.
Okay. We have Walmart Pay, so we can buy
save cents on the gallon. Yep. And then Open Roads is a cheaper option as well.
if you have a diesel.
Correct. And it links directly to your bank account as opposed to a credit card, which is significant. It's like 20 to 30 cents cheaper. So if you are trying to live like a budget-friendly lifestyle, as long as you're not in a prime location in a big city or an RV park costs $1,200 a month to rent a site in, it's doable. But you also have to count in, like, did you buy your rig outright, or are you making a quote-unquote mortgage payment on that rig? And same with cars.
Propane expenses have been minimal. Like, the only time it's really been a factor for us is living in sub 30-degree weather for months on end. We have to run the furnace all the time, and we're filling a propane tank like every 10 days. But otherwise, the propane tank lasts us. Like, we just refilled the propane tank on here in October, and we've had this rig since last January.
But we were out of it for 5 months.
5 months.
Yeah. But still, that's one tank
And
over a total of probably a year.
yeah.
Yeah.
That tank would have lasted us, but I was messing with the furnace for a couple of days. I had a furnace running overnight for a couple of days, so that sucked some propane out. So otherwise, it would have lasted us enough if we were just cooking and heating water.
Yeah.
Some stuff we save money on Amazon shopping because we get it subscribe and save, like some things for Viper food and whatnot. We have a number of things come to us, subscribe and save, so you save an extra percentage off the Amazon cost.
No, I think a lot of our savings comes from the fact that we eat at home. And you're limited on space, so there's only so many things you can bring.
Just some quick things that we have that you may be interested in. So internet, we have T-Mobile home internet. It's $55 a month. Water filtration system, whatever that is for your rig, that's going to cost you something in reoccurring costs. Propane for your rig is a reoccurring cost. Maintenance and upkeep, like silicone spray and lithium grease spray and 303 and stuff for your roof, like your sealant for your roof, and just basic maintenance and upkeep things like that. A torque wrench, whatever accessories you have with your rig, all those things will come into play and be an expense to you. And some of those are reoccurring, and some of those are one-time purchase. I'm a fan of buying quality items so you don't have to repurchase them later on because they broke. If you can buy like craftsman tools or things like that that are guaranteed for life, so if the tool breaks, you can get another one for free. Maybe invest in some of that. Also for clothing, Blair and I are big fans of multi-use things. So for
Capsule closet.
what? Capsule closet? Is that a phrase?
Yeah, it is.
I never heard of that. So I guess a capsule closet, whatever that means. But I have pants that you can wear a t-shirt with, and you can put a nice polo shirt on, and they look dressy. I have shoes that could be either way. I have belts and whatever the clothes are. But I try to have clothes that fit a myriad of activities depending on what we're doing, so I don't have to have that many clothes. Some other expenses we have are like Apple storage, so we have the iCloud storage for our phones and some other things we have going on there, so that we pay for more just so we don't run out of space, because sometimes these videos and these photos and things like that take up more space than our phones have. So that's a reoccurring cost to us. And some apps we use like Netflix or Apple TV Plus or some of those things are included in some other deal plans we have, but that's just a handful. But that really depends on you and your family and what you need and what you use. So you can cut costs in a big way and cut the cord kind of thing. We watch over-the-air channels as much as possible for just basic stuff, and then we'll watch a movie on occasion, or I think we probably watch more Dateline than anything else. That's all for the finance thing that we can think of at the moment. If you have any specific questions about how we do, why we do, what we do, please ask.
Medical care, insurance wise, so you have to figure out what works best for you and your insurance. So some insurances are good, East Coast, West Coast, are specific to a state and things like that. So before you go on the road full time and you're going to be traveling quite a bit, you need to talk to your insurance provider. So catastrophic failure, emergency room visits, standard whatever, go to get some medication kind of visits. What do you do for that? Because what we do is totally different than what you and your family situation might have. So I can't go into details on that because it's too confusing and insurance is convoluted enough. So please contact your insurance agency to find out what you're covered in and how they would continue to cover you should you be traveling on vacation or on, you're kind of permanently on vacation. So if you're doing that permanently, how does that work? And if you choose to domicile somewhere, that may affect that too. So anyway, check your local insurance or your personal insurance and see how you do those. Same with your vehicle insurance and things like that. If you're constantly on the road, so do you have insurance for your domicile? Do you have insurance where the vehicle's registered? Do you have insurance back in your home state? Some of you will have family who are going to remain, so some of your kids or maybe your siblings or something like that, you're going to just leave everything registered at their house, and they're going to handle your mail for you and handle all the things for you, and that just be the way that works. That can work as an option as well. Basic maintenance. I'll go over my monthly checklist. I've talked about this many times, but I'm going to say it again. If you go open your owner's manual, there's a recommended checklist of every 3 months and 6 months and 10,000 miles and 1 year, whatever the things are. It tells you exactly what to do. Follow that. That's exactly what I do. I follow that checklist. I probably go a little overboard because I grease everything monthly and I check everything monthly, but we're using it all the time. So just follow the checklist. Just really, if you follow the checklist, your rig will be in much better shape than it is if you don't follow the checklist. I mean, so many people who don't do just basic preventative maintenance, and it ends up hurting them in the long run because they have a problem when they're out somewhere camping and shouldn't have a problem. Tools that I carry, I just have a standard mechanic tool set that's available on our Amazon page. I have, just diagnostic tools like a voltmeter, and I have some extra screws and some extra rivets and some drill bits and things like that I use. And it's just a basic tool set. It's nothing extravagant. And there's plenty that I don't know how to do. There's plenty of times that I phone a friend or ask for help or call someone or search YouTube for things that happened to me while traveling that I have not experienced before. Now, because I've lived full time in an RV for 9 years and I've had 5 different models, I've probably experienced most things you're ever going to experience. I've learned over the time and learned how to do it and been more comfortable doing it. Somebody asked me the other day about tanks and cleaning the tanks and sanitizing the water system, and I'm gonna give you a quick little blurb on that. Blair and I do not put toilet paper in our black tank. There's a couple reasons here. One, RV rapid dissolving toilet paper is horrible. Two, we had a significant experience with some RV toilet paper not draining properly and 3 rigs ago, and I vowed at that point to never use the stuff again. 3, when you can buy good toilet paper, it's much softer and much more friendly for you to use. 4, it doesn't stink, so when you wipe your areas and you put it in the trash can next to you, it doesn't smell. I can assure you that it doesn't smell. I know many people who do this, and I've had many people in our rig over and over and over again. So we just have a little grocery bag trash can beside the toilet. All toilet paper gets deposited in that, and it gets thrown away every other day or every day as needed. So super easy. And I will tell you that cleaning the tanks, particularly the black tank, is much quicker than it ever was when we used toilet paper. So the black tank flush, it flushes everything out super fast. I used to have to do multiple flushes and fill the thing up all the way and let it drain, and fill it all the way up and let it drain to get all that toilet paper that was stuck around or hardened somewhere out. But now I don't have that issue at all, and it drains really easy. Sanitizing the system, I like to use vinegar over bleach, but bleach works really well to kill all the things, and vinegar, you have to really heat it up to get it to kill all the things. So there's multiple blogs and things like that about how to sanitize your system. I've used bleach and I've used vinegar both, and they both work. They just have their different pluses and minuses. So I like to use non-toxic things because we have Piper and Scout in the house, and sometimes they like to lick everything, and I don't want one of them licking something they shouldn't. So I like to use non-toxic cleaning solutions if possible. All right, as soon as it gets into a shady spot, I'm going to give you a tour of the truck and just a number of things that we've done to it. So you can go back and search our videos. I put a receiver hitch on the very front. It was sent to me by Torque Lift Central. I did not pay for it. They sent it to me to do a video on, so I did that, and you can go back and look at the video. If you need a receiver hitch on the front of your truck or tow vehicle, it's a really cool option for a number of reasons. I could put a bike rack up there if I wanted to. I could put a stand to stand on to work in my engine if I wanted to. I could put a cooler, one of those grates that set a cooler on up there if I wanted to. It's great for tailgating. And one other thing people don't or rarely would use it for is I can put a receiver hitch, I can put a ball hitch up there, and if I needed to back my trailer or push my trailer, if I were trying to back my trailer into a very tight or very difficult spot, I could drop the trailer, spin the truck around, and put the ball hitch on the front, and I could push the trailer so I can see much better than trying to back it up. So that's an option too. And that one is strong enough to move this trailer around should I need to. I haven't done that, but it is an option. I wired in a 30 amp wire going from there's upfitter switches in there. I wired it from there going to the very back so I can plug in the trailer and a DC to DC charger so it would charge the system using the alternator from the truck. I've put in AGM batteries up front, which are really great. And they last wonderful, and I can sit with just a battery on for a long time, whereas I used to have to crank it up on occasion if we were doing something I needed the battery on. You've seen me with my side load stabilizers from Torque Cliff Central that they sent me also, and I put those on the truck. I use those every time we tow, and they're wonderful. We have a Yakima bike rack, and it's really a roof rack, but it goes over the bed of the truck. So that's been a wonderful addition to carry bicycles. And then we have the Yakima big box over there that has some of our storage things in it. We have the Retrax system bed cover, and I've had it on there since I've owned the truck. It's been a really good system. I did have an issue with the diesel particulate filter. Blair and I were in the middle of Yellowstone National Park, and it just quit running. It wouldn't do anything, so they had to replace the diesel particulate filter. And I had to have it manually regen a few times at a Ford dealership, but since they replaced it, I have not had that issue ever again. The bed space is enough. We have Tupperware bins back there with some of our holiday decorations in one and some camping gear in another. And, everything's locked up back there and under my Retrax bed. And I also have workout gear. So you may have gone back in time and watched our workout while living full-time in an RV. So I have kettlebells that I use when we are not near a gym. A few real quick things on my truck here. We have the bars, we have the bike systems, which you saw, and we now have the box up there. And that box is really just to keep some ski gear and things like that in that I wanted to get out of the bed of the truck. Down here, I have the B&W adjustable hitch. Now, this is the F350, so it has a 3-inch receiver. And there's not very many companies who make an adjustable hitch for that receiver. I was going to go with a Fastway hitch, Equalizer and Fastway are the same company. I love their chocks that we have on the rig, and I love the other things that they make, but they didn't make a 3-inch receiver, and I would have had to have a sleeve, and I didn't want a sleeve because the sleeves kind of vibrate a bit. But the B&W hitch, I've been very happy with it. It tucks underneath. I get asked all the time when people see me towing, you don't have an anti-sway system or a weight distribution hitch. No, I do not. This truck can tow up to like a 15,000-pound bumper tow, and that trailer, as it sits right now with all of our stuff in it and 100% tank of water, it weighs 6,800 pounds. So it's not necessary. I don't feel the sway. I feel a minor sway when a big truck comes near us, but it's not enough to make me uncomfortable. I don't sag in the back because I have the Torque Cliff Central side load stabilizers that you saw. Up here in the front, I talked about the camera. So this camera is a really nice setup camera. It has another wire that runs to the back glass. So I have a camera pointing out the back glass. This front camera right here points out the windshield and inside the cab. And it's a day or night camera. So inside the cab at dark in here, it has an infrared system so you can see inside the cab at night. The bullet point mounting solutions up here, I really love this. I traded my pinching device up to a magnet so I can magnet my phone right up here. I really love this system. I have on my dashboard here a magnet to hold a pistol, and it magnets right to the dash right here, right by my leg. It doesn't get in the way. It doesn't fall off when we bounce down bumpy roads and things like that. So it's a very strong magnet, and I have a pistol right here attached to the dash. Know the laws in the States before you decide to put weapons out in your vehicle. And know what to do with the weapon if you are ever stopped. I'm not here on gun safety. I just want to make sure that you don't just willy-nilly carry a gun around because it's not legal. We got these little things on Amazon. They're just a little tray that sits right between the seat and the center console, and you can put a phone in here, or I keep a pen there and a couple of things here that's just handy that I want out of the middle because if I put a coffee cup in there or whatever the things are I keep in the middle, it's just a cheap little option to add something to it. And it prevents things from falling down in between the seats. But really for that falling down between the seats, I have I can't pull them out. But I went to the dollar store or Walmart or something. I bought a pool noodle for $1. Cut the pool noodle and I put it between the seat and the center console. So if something does fall down, it lands on the pool noodle instead of getting stuck down in the abyss that I can't ever pull out. So pool noodle and that thing, it keeps most stuff from falling in between our seats and center console. I always have a flashlight in here. I have this little device for cleaning the inside of the windshield. It's really handy because if I can't reach it and it's kind of fogged up or something like that, I can use this system to clean the windshield off. So that's a really handy feature. I have a big tire pressure gauge here that I can, the truck has its own tire pressure system, and the trailer, I have the TPS system on it. But if I'm ever filling up somewhere that doesn't have the gauge right on the fill up part, I can use this quickly, and it's a very high quality one. I also keep rubber gloves right here on my door for putting on my hands when I'm getting diesel fuel, and that's mostly true at a truck stop. So if we have to go in a truck stop where they have the pumps that pump super fast, sometimes that stuff sprays out and gets all over the handle. So I like to just have a set of gloves there so I don't have to have diesel fuel all over my hands anytime I get gas. I've talked about this before, but years ago I ordered a sample from Tempur-Pedic mattress, and they sent me this little sample here, but I use it as an armrest on the door here. It makes driving so much comfortable on that elbow. From the Ford truck perspective, again, this is a Platinum edition, so it doesn't have lane keep on this model. So this is a 2017, and this is the first body style year model of this rig, and I've had this truck now for 7 years. Next month will be 7 years, and it's got a little over 100,000 miles on it now. But the features and amenities that came with it, so the Apple CarPlay was the first time I'd ever had that, was in this truck, and a panoramic sunroof is the first time I ever had that, was in this truck, and the lane warning systems and the adaptive cruise control is the first time I had that, was in this truck, and the 360 camera that Ford has, that's the first time I had it, was in this truck. So many of those functions are fantastic, and I love them and use them all the time. This has massaging seats. That's gimmicky, but I will tell you, after driving for a long time, 6 or 8 hours in a car, that little massaging on your lower back and legs and butt, it feels pretty good after driving for a long time. I love the heated and cooled seats. I love all the technology. The things that I don't love about this truck are the small gas tank. So they made a bigger gas tank in them after they built this model. So I would like to have a bigger gas tank. I don't ever plan to have the panoramic sunroof again. We were somewhere, you can go back in our videos and find it. It was an Airstream rally that my panoramic sunroof broke basically. So there's 2 panels. The front panel would drop down and go back underneath the rear panel, or you could tilt it up and things like that. But we pulled in this RV park, and I went to open the sunroof, and it drops. One side of it dropped, but the other side did not drop, so it was sitting crooked, and I had a big gap right here. So had it rained, it would have rained right in there. But I had to take the whole sunroof apart, and I took the motor apart so it wouldn't operate, and I put the sunroof back in so it wouldn't leak anymore. I can still operate the shade, but I can't work the sunroof anymore. This is the last vehicle I ever planned to have with carpet. Our other vehicle back there is one without carpet, and it's so much easier to clean with the dog hair and the dirt and dust and things like that. This truck also has the 6-speed transmission, and the newer ones have a 10-speed transmission. The infotainment system up here, the sync system that Ford has, is a much bigger screen now than is in this rig, and there's some other functionality of that I really like. So I don't need a 350 anymore. That was only for the 5th wheels we carried around. A 250 would be perfectly fine, and a 250 is much more comfortable driving around town without a load in the back too. So, all right, just a couple of things back here. Here's my Craftsman Mechanics tool set. That is a Yeti box. I keep all the accoutrements for my drills. I have a drill and an impact gun and the battery chargers and all the drill bits and all the things. They're all in here. I have these mechanics gloves for changing a tire or doing anything out on the road, hooking the rig up, things like that. I have Airstream repair stuff, so water lines, water fittings, rivets, rivet gun, all the things that I use working on the rig are in one of these 2 boxes. And there's a few things underneath the seat here, but not that much. I have a Yeti cooler here, so when we are somewhere that I need to take a lot of groceries, or we are far away from somewhere, or I've been driving for a long time, I need to pull stuff out of the fridge, drop it right here in the Yeti cooler. It doesn't come out very often, but sometimes it does. And depending on how many people we have in the rig, sometimes I can pull it out and we put it in the middle of the couch lounge area there, and it can be used as a footrest and to keep drinks and stuff like that. So we don't have to keep open the fridge up. Over there on that other side, that's where our storage spot. So right now, Scout's crate that she travels in is in there, in that footwell over there. Some new cat food, dog food, puppy pads, things like that kind of sit over there in that little hole, because rarely do we have anybody back here. And then we have the seat cover, Piper seat cover that just washes off really nice, and her seatbelt harness. I have a windshield cover, and it's not a generic one. This one's cut specifically for that windshield, and if you don't have the one that's cut specifically for your windshield, please do yourself a favor and get it. It fits much better. It's much easier to get in and out, and it does a much better job. I have this for attaching GoPros for doing random things. I can attach this to kind of a bicycle or whatever else I have. But on the truck, up on the roof, and on both mirrors, and on the tailgate, I have, or on where the tag is, I have a GoPro mount back there. So depending on where we're traveling to, I can hook a GoPro up. I can also put one on the dash, pointed out the front. In the bed of the truck, like I said, I have the workout gear. I have a couple Costco bins back there, and we have a solo stove back there. So not very much back there anymore. Like to have it kind of open, because when we pack up the rig, I put the power cord back there. I put my hoses back there. I put my chocks back there. I put my leveling pads and all that kind of stuff back there. Piper's dog bed and our rugs that go outside the rig. So all that stuff goes in the back of the truck when we travel somewhere. So I have room for that otherwise. Anyway, that's our truck. That's a quick tour of our truck. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have questions about that or anything else we do, or something I missed here, or something you saw that you wondered about, please let us know.
It's kind of a toss-up.
What?
It's not time for supper. It's not.
You just said that loud.
I know. Me too.
Oh. I think that means it's time.
No.
You see her little ear quiver? Just a minute, Pipe.
It's not time yet.
Oh, you're a whole hour early.
She said the time's about to change. I know what's up.
She's getting on board. She's gonna have a whole...
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Hello, good